These rich hues herald autumn in New England. How best to catch the season's brief but blazing glory? One idea, drive the Mohawk Trail in Massachusetts. Approximately 70 miles long, the Mohawk Trail winds through parts of Routes 2 and 2A. Here in western Massachusetts, the trail offers views for miles.
This is the Coal River. It flows down from the Hoosick Mountain Range to our west. It flows into the Deerfield River. It's well known for its fly fishing.
In the town of Charlemont, the entrance to the Mohawk Trail State Forest is right off the road, but the park feels remote, says Alec Gilman.
It's a fabulous place to kind of just sort of decompress. We also don't have cell service, so expect to be disconnected while you're here.
The forest is 6,000 acres, says Gilman, who is with the state's Department of Conservation and Recreation.
It aligns with the Mohawk Trail, which was built in 1914, but the more ancient Mohawk Trail that everybody thinks about is actually a foot trail that was used by the First Peoples for thousands of years prior to that.
Hiking here is best for the sure-footed.
There's a base elevation about 200 some odd feet, goes up to about 700, 1,200 feet and thereabouts. It's rugged, it's steep, it's covered with trees. You can find some of the tallest trees in the Northeast.
In fact, this grove of trees is called the Trees of Peace and rises up to 175 feet, says Gilman.
These white pines are about 150, give or take, years old. They're second growth, former sheep pasture that turned into woods.
Part of a large complex of state forests, the Mohawk Trail State Forest is distinctive because of its cabins and campgrounds, says Gilman.
It was developed by the Civilian Conservation Corps back in the 1930s during the Great Depression and the New Deal.
These vast woodlands draw avid outdoors people, including those searching for something a bit mystical. Bigfoot believers swear by sightings in this area.
I don't know if such a thing exists here. When people come into the woods, their imaginations run wild.
No matter what you see, please remember some basics, says Gilman.
Just stay to the trail, pick up after yourself, and keep your dog on a leash.
A half-hour's drive away is the Mohawk Trail's famous hairpin turn, with panoramic views of the Hoosick Valley.
As you descend the hairpin turn, you can see Building 6 from the top of the mountain, and you will find MassMocha kind of right in the center of the valley here in North Adams.
The Massachusetts Museum of Contemporary Art, or MassMocha, receives between 160 and 200,000 visitors annually, says Visitor Experience Manager John Tibbetts.
This complex was built in the mid-19th century, from the 1860s to the 1890s. Arnold Print Works had a factory here, and they dyed textile fabrics. The beauty of this space is the vastness, and then discovering the art that is around every corner within the galleries.
Today, this 300,000 square foot campus has more than 20 buildings. There's ample room for work by Boston-based artist Joe Wardwell, as well as this rideable roller coaster by Los Angeles artist E.J. Hill.
MassMocha is a non-collecting museum. We do not have a permanent collection. Everything you see on display is through long-term or short-term loans with artists, foundations, other museums.
Perhaps MassMocha's most immersive exhibit is Into the Light by James Turrell, a world-renowned light artist.
We are in a unique position that we have 10 James Turrell pieces on display, which makes us one of the most comprehensive retrospectives of his work in North America.
Since the late 1960s, Turrell has been transforming light into a sculptural medium.
James Turrell came out of the Southern California light and space movement, and he really wanted to focus on how to create environment with light.
Turrell's work challenges visitors' sensory perceptions. The world seems to dissolve around those who step into this room, a work titled Perfectly Clear.
A lot of his work is influenced by his aviation. He's a pilot, and Perfectly Clear is a Ganzfeld piece, and the Ganzfeld effect is when you're flying in the clouds and you lose all sense of direction.
Turrell also created this sky space inside a former water tower.
And the title of this sky space is CAVU, C-A-V-U, which stands for Ceiling and Visibility Unlimited, which is an aviation term for clear skies. And it is a complex structure with an aperture or oculus that opens and closes depending on the time of day. This is a contemplative space here on the campus.
A fitting way to relax before getting back on the Mohawk Trail.
And the James Turrell exhibit can really alter one's awareness of space, depth, color, and light. And he often doesn't let his work get filmed. So we were really lucky to get that sneak peek.
Really neat.
Yeah.
And scientists consider the Mohawk Trail State Forest to really be the epicenter of old-growth forest research. Old-growth forests, of course, forests that have basically never been touched before, and they're home to all kinds of unique plant and wildlife. Very special place.
It certainly is. Making over a mountaintop retreat next.